Hi YouTubers and anybody that's following me. Just doing an update video. Sorry it's been a while since my last video. A lot of things have happened in between now and then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to break this down into 2 videos. And just keep in mind that I am making these we're mid-January now. And I don't know exactly when they're going to get posted, so it could even be towards the end of the month before even the second video comes out. So a lot of that is mostly due to the fact that in my previous video, as you noticed, the audio has been not ideal. I'm still learning how to do this correctly, and it's taken me down a really interesting road where I don't even know how to. I'm still trying to figure out the audio stuff. I have some hardware that I got that I'll talk about later. I think it'll solve my problems, but learning how to use it properly is definitely my next step. But I don't want all these things to continue to delay what I'm trying to keep you guys updated for. So this is a blog after all, so I'm not going to expect perfection, but at the same time, I still want to try to do my best with each one that I do, and hopefully over time you'll also see that they get better and better and better. But without further ado, again, this is just a recap of December, or the last bit of December. And if you remember in my previous video, right at the end there, or at some point in that video, I took a picture of, or I showed a picture of my frog bit plants. And what I noticed when I took that picture was they were actually a little bit yellow. So that was like my canary in the mine, and it was telling me that my aquaponic system didn't have enough iron in it. So I went out to the store and I got some iron for it. I'm not going to go into the details on the science in this video. I'm going to make a future video on that'll explain more in detail what you need for iron and what different kinds there are, what does and doesn't work. But that'll be on a future video when I have once I figured all this stuff out anyway, right? With that said too, I got a little, I wouldn't say impatient, but I wanted to put some new life into my tank. So I went out and I got 3 red cherry shrimp. Now I wish I could show you a picture of them or a video, but really the best opportunity that I had for that was when I had them in the bag from the store. Right now they're in that little fish net, and they are hard to see. Like, even they have to be up on the screen itself for me to even see it, and even then there's a screen. I don't see it with them, with the details with my own naked eye. So I'm not going to bother giving you some blurry, crappy pictures on that. But they're in there, and they're January or mid-January, and they seem to be doing just fine in there. Alright, so one of the challenges that I was having was every time I needed to fill up water, I'd have to go down to the store and buy water. I don't want to use tap water for my system if I can't help it. It has chlorine and all this other bad stuff in there that may not necessarily be detrimental to the aquarium or anything if it's treated properly. But I will admit, I'm a little lazy. I don't want to do all that stuff. I just want to be able to pour it, dump it, and be done with it. So I was looking for a reverse osmosis system, something I might be able to throw in under the sink. But in a nutshell, I didn't feel that was a really good investment for me at the time, even though it would have been nice to have. But I did find something that actually is doing the job rather well. It's called a Zero Water, or the company's called Zero Water, and it's basically something similar to a Brita water system, but it ships with a TDS reader that proves that it actually cleans the water. And so far I've been using it for, again, a while now, and it's doing really well. It's a slow filter though. Anyway, so that's good. This is the new enclosure system that I'm working on. This is a step in the right direction, but it definitely needs some work. Obviously this is just sort of simply taped together, and I want to make a much better part of it. Both sides of it is reflective, so on the outside I want to try to figure out what I can do to also improve that. So my rosemary plant, as you can see, is doing really well. If I look over at my bay leaf plant, there's definitely more leaves. You can also see that there's a lot of little cubes in here too as well. Now I'm having a seeding issue. Seeds and me are not getting along very well. I mean, I was just basically throwing stuff in there and seeing what was going to happen. I need to make an improvement on that, and so I tried to make that effort. So anyway, I got these little cubes. I'm going to come in, and in a nutshell, there they they're going to help the seeding process, I hope. But you know, so anyway, the spinach, the ones that you're seeing kind of up front here, they're still the spinach, and nothing's growing yet. But this only happened. I only got this going a few odd days ago, I think, or so. Actually, maybe longer than that. But I'm not really seeing any life out of that. I'm thinking the spinach seeds are probably not doing so well. This one here is actually a new shoot. If you look really carefully on the bottom there, actually I'll try to pick it out if I can. You know, like, here it is. Yeah, you can see that kind of laying up the side there. I literally just poked it and it fell over. So, oops. It is what it is. These ones here are obviously doing much better. Very nice. Yeah, these are green onions, by the way. But none of the other ones have sprouted. I moved up the paper towel part probably a good inch, and I think that's going to help. But I don't think the other ones are going to grow. This is what I believe to be my broccoli plant. You know, it took a little while for the root growth to do its thing. I don't think it was like, you know, stumped or anything like that, but you know, now it's starting to grow, you know. And if I pan over here, and this is what I believe to be is my kale plant. And as you can tell, it's doing rather well. I am seeing I don't know if there's such a thing as a minor, but I am seeing some nutrient deficiencies. I'm not 100% sure if it's iron or if it's magnesium, but the pH levels of my water are still a little bit higher than I want them to be. So I'm not too sure, you know, like if, you know, over time the pH level is going to drop and that'll solve this problem, which I'm hoping. But needless to say, it still seems to be doing rather well. If I look into here, I got some green onions. So, yeah, I mean, and the bay leaf, you look at this. This is the bay leaf. You're still seeing like white spots on that. That is from where I bought it. You know, they use city water. I'm assuming that's just a calcium buildup of the water or something. I tried to wash it off when I planted it, but obviously that ain't going anywhere without any rain. And if you look up here, this is where I have my fan. Now this fan is pretty posty. It's a little overkill. I actually have a controller unit, and it is controlling the fan speed of it. And I basically have it set as low as I can get it without it being dead low. So I don't know if that'll affect the fan if it's getting too little juice. But this fan is noisy. So I obviously want to, you know, let it adjust. I obviously want to make sure that, you know, so I want to improve that. Oh, that's freaking blurry. And this is my power supply area. I attached some zippy ties to it to try to clean it up a little bit. Down the road, this isn't necessarily a priority, but down the road I want to get a box of some sorts so I can put all these things into a box. A nice looking box, and you know, with a nice little door, and you know, if I need to do anything in there I can open up the door and just not have this rat's nest of crap. Alright, so like I said, this is going to be basically 2 videos. What I'm talking about here in this video is basically what's happened in December. For the most part, the stuff that's going on in the aquarium itself has been pretty low-key, but I will admit a lot of more recent updates has happened, and I will address those into the next video. And hopefully you'll see that sooner rather than later. It'll still be in the same format as this probably. It's not going to be too technical in terms of how I do audio and stuff, you know, so bear with me. That is a learning curve that I'm still, you know, trying to get myself through.